Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. I felt this time I would talk about one of the biggest flops I had seen in recent history. And since everything's on hold, I felt this was a good time to just rehash old arguments. It's hard to talk about the DC universe as a film franchise without talking about where it originally started. Superman is one of the most, if not the most, iconic character, world-renowned hero known. Batman is by far on par with him. They are both characters who are respected by all cultures, all religions, all ethnicities. The reason being is fandoms don't care about that stuff. Fandoms are created off of loving characters, off of loving a story. As fans, we had always gotten live-action recreations of our favorite fandoms that inspired us. However, it wasn't until 1978 when Christopher Reeves embodied Superman. He played the perfect Clark Kent. He was the perfect Superman. He could be the timid Clark as well as the strong Superman. He could instill hope through his actions. However, his parallel Clark, you could see how he saw humanity. You could tell that he felt weak as Clark. He did not feel strong as Clark because his Clark Kent was how he viewed humanity. He was embodying what he saw as humanity, weak, frail beings. It was amazingly well done. It wasn't so much the movie that was amazing, which I do enjoy the movie. It was Christopher Reeve's portrayal of both Clark Kent and Superman. It is hard to be able to portray both. Look at Tobey Maguire being Spider-Man. He made an amazing Peter Parker. He was a terrible Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield was a terrible Peter Parker, but an amazing Spider-Man. You had to bring them both together. Spider-Man was always a humorous character, yet Peter Parker was the nerd. Superman tried several times to come back. Superman Returns, I will not lie, I enjoyed the movie. It was enjoyable for what it was. However, I enjoyed it because I was hoping it would be brought in to Christopher Nolan's Batman. And just like with Superman, Batman had gone through many different live-action renditions. From the old Adam West, Michael Keaton, which was by far my favorite. And then a few jokes, ending up with Christian Bale, who did an amazing portrayal. An amazing origin story, which we had not previously seen on film. We would instantly get the Batman. We would get glimpses of his past, but never an origin story. And it was amazingly well done. The audience yearning for more. They loved the gritty Batman who refused to kill. They loved the Superman who embodied hope and ideals, which humanity should strive for peace, should strive to be unified. And then in 2013, a movie comes out, which is supposed to be a new, exciting tale of Superman. An origin story as well. However, I didn't think we needed that. We had already gotten an amazing origin story through Superman. But if you're going to reboot, might as well tell it again for a newer audience. We ended up with a Superman who was reluctant, afraid to show himself, refused to save his father, when that is not something Clark Kent would do. That is not something Superman would do. He would do anything to save a life, no matter what the cost. He would sacrifice himself for another. As the movie went on, I was like, okay, I'll give it a pass. They're trying to build the character. They're trying to make him find who he is. They're trying to make him understand his powers. However, they seem to make him constantly lash out, like a child, destroying a man's livelihood just because he was being a bully. Honestly, as terrible as that man was, who's to say that he hadn't slept for 20 hours? Truckers have hard lives, and to just be a punk and destroy his livelihood just because he was being a terrible human being? That is not what Superman would do. That is not what Clark Kent would do. Clark Kent would have joked around talking with him, and when he gets swung at, slowly trip over himself, dodging the attack. The man would punch a beam, and he would become humorous. It would be lighthearted. It would turn that terrible situation into more of a comedic relief. You get who Clark Kent is. You get who Superman is. He will not lash out in anger. He refuses to. However, we ended up with a childlike action where he's a bully to a bully. After that scene, I had pretty much clocked out of the film. When it finally got to the very end, the fact that he would kill another being was where they had completely lost me. That is something Superman would never do. He would never take a life, and if he did, he would not be Superman. He would refuse to keep his powers. After seeing that, I thought to myself, maybe that's the point of this movie. Maybe the point of this movie is for him to go so far, he realizes he will never go that route again. He will get the resolve to control himself, because he knows he lives in a world of cardboard. Everyone, no matter what he does, he can hurt them. He has to control himself. He has to limit himself. The great comparison between Superman and Goku. Goku is a being which keeps pushing himself to achieve other levels of power. Superman is a god among beings who has to limit his power so he doesn't hurt the ones he loves, doesn't hurt the humans he has come to care for. So when I saw that ending, even though it was against everything Superman would do, I thought to myself, okay, perhaps that's where they're going with this. He has realized what he should never do. He's going to put a cap on himself. He will never take another life. He will continue being the sign of hope and peace for humanity, guiding them as a shepherd. And then comes Batman v Superman. And all my thoughts about the first movie being potentially his arc to get to being the Superman we know and love was false. He turned out to be a Superman who had given up on humanity. Why even be Superman? Why even display your power? Why not fade into obscurity? It made no sense. Why fly around in the cape? Why even be Superman if you hate being Superman? Even the line where Lois Lane basically convinces him to be Superman even though he doesn't want to be Superman. And then throwing in the Batman, a murderous, vengeful Batman, which would never exist. Batman would never become a killer. The time he got close to becoming a killer, he retired, became a detective, solely a detective, trying to solve crime from his Batcave, not venturing out to fight crime. But no, Batman became a sulking, brooding, angry, murdering vigilante who made it his purpose to kill Superman. However, that is true. Batman did believe that any of the supers could become evil. He had made plans to take them out if they had ever turned evil. He was a great detective, a great strategist. He knew who everyone was. He knew their counterbalances. He knew how to defeat them if it ever came time to it. He didn't automatically assume they were evil. He wanted to judge them for himself. Yet he came up with plans just in case they became evil. And this all leads in to the death of the DCeU. Superman, well, as it's aptly named, the Man of Steel, was a movie about a man with immense power, godlike powers, who was a childlike being lashing out at the world, not finding his place. It was not Superman, the idealistic, hopeful, could see humans' potential and try to guide them type of being. No, it wasn't Superman. It was someone with the same name, same somewhat origin story, same parents, but a completely different mentality. And I'm not against that at all. Brightburn, I enjoyed, taking basically the concept of Superman and changing it around. However, where Man of Steel failed was they made it about Superman. That was not Superman. You can enjoy the movie, but that is not Superman. The Batman they created, that is not Batman. You can enjoy the movie if you wish, but that is not Batman. They alienated tons of fans who had come to expect something. Sure, you can go back to where Superman, back in the classic 1920s, would come up with powers on the fly. Instantly to fight a specific boss, to fight a specific creature. And then Batman was created as a counterbalance, a human being, not an all-powerful god. However, for almost a century, Superman's powers, Superman's ideology, Superman's hero journey has remained cemented, and to throw that all out the window did not sit well. I have heard the argument that it made more than Iron Man when it came out. This is a terrible argument. Iron Man was a low-tier character. He was someone you did not really know of. The only other superhero movies out there that were successful were the Spider-Man and, of course, Batman at the time this came out. And Batman beat it out by a landslide, an A-list hero. However, That B-list hero brought in intrigue in what they could do with B-list heroes. Marvel started creating a franchise off of the B-listers. And the argument that Man of Steel and Batman v Superman did better, Man of Steel made money because they had Christopher Nolan's name attached to it. Everyone identified Christopher Nolan with, well, you guessed it, The Dark Knight. The amazing 2 movies that he had created. Everyone wanted to see the Superman brought in with The Dark Knight. They wanted to see that union. People were excited to see the 2 A-listers, the 2 most loved heroes in the world, finally battle it out or get together. So they were excited to see The Man of Steel, which let a lot of fans down. However, a lot of people went to see the second movie in theaters. I did not. I had already clocked out at that point. But I did end up seeing the second movie. And the second movie is a prime example of how you kill a franchise. There was potential after the first one, just making it an arc for him to become the Superman. But he never became the Superman. He never was the Superman in The Man of Steel. And he never became it. And Batman was not Batman. Zack Snyder took his Watchmen mentality and decided to do the same thing with 2 A-list heroes. The 2 most iconic heroes. It worked for Watchmen because Watchmen is a grim and dark comic book. You can tell a grim and dark story through Watchmen. There was still hope in Watchmen, however, which Zack Snyder did not capture. But in the comics, there is a slight bit of hope. He brought his grim dark mentality into the Superman and the Batman, which it has no place there. Elements of it can be in a Batman story, but Batman is not a grim and dark story. I equated The Man of Steel to The Force Awakens, a movie that I saw in theaters which clocked me out of the entire series. And Batman v Superman is to The Last Jedi, as Man of Steel is to The Force Awakens. A movie that kills the fan base. It can be enjoyed. You can enjoy those movies. You can love those movies. But you can't call them a Star Wars movie. You can't call them a Superman and Batman movie. Because they're not. I agree with people who love those types of films. I have my own trash movies that I really love. I know they're trash. I will admit they're trash. But I love them. Waterworld, I love as a film. Honestly, I do. I know it's a terrible film, but I love it. And I admit it's a terrible film. I'm willing to admit that. Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, the funny thing is, if you remove Batman and Superman, their names at least, from the story, it could be an enjoyable movie, because you no longer have the expectation and the knowledge of Batman and Superman. Heck, you go through the entire film and just swap out every time they say Clark, or Bruce Wayne, or Superman, or Batman, with something completely different, and you will actually have a movie you could watch. Has the DCeU somewhat come back? From the ratings, it seems like it has. Aquaman seemed to be successful. Wonder Woman was successful. Shazam was successful. They decided to go more of the comedic Marvel route than the dark, gritty Snyder route. However, sadly, I've already clocked out. Unless they completely start from scratch and quit trying to redeem and survive what is considered a flop by most people, there will not be much hope. The last DC movie I saw was Wonder Woman. It was okay. I'm not like most people who said they automatically loved it. I did not. I saw it as a B-grade film at most. However, coming off the back of Batman v Superman, I can see why people love it. It's a masterpiece compared to that. I will admit, I still have not seen the Justice League. I hear it's enjoyable, if not for the Flash alone. And the Flash is one of my favorites. The adult child in the lead 7 always brought humor. I can discuss on and on about what went wrong with the DCU, with the Disney Star Wars, with Jurassic, with the Aliens series. Heck, I believe that the majority of the death of cinema started with one movie, Avatar. Alright, that's where I'll leave you. Please comment a thought down below, whether you agree, disagree. I'd love to hear from you. Please like, share, subscribe. I'll see you next time. Toodles!